For nearly 200 years, the entrance or even existence of the Earl's Vault has remained a complete mystery, until recent restorations revealed a mysterious passageway hidden behind an ancient bookcase. It was this passageway which unearthed a secret stranger than anyone could have imagined. The sealed vault, and within, the legendary fallen branch of self. A vault sealed for 2 centuries.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Planet Coaster and welcome back to Hexed 1-to-1 recreation within Planet Coaster. I hope you did enjoy that little teaser of the Octagon pre-show just there. Not going to be showing you the full Octagon pre-show just yet, that is going to be saved for the final cinematic of the entire attraction of Hex. I've done some really good progress in Hex over the past few days, and of course we are starting with the cinema, or some people still call it the second pre-show. I just call it cinema because, well, it is a cinema really. The room goes dark. Actually, the room goes darker than most cinemas out there, to be honest. But yeah, it shows the story of Hex and how it all came to be, and how the witch put the curse on the Talbot family. For every branch of the old oak tree that fell, a member of your family will die. And one interesting thing about that actually is that a couple years ago in the late 2000s, there was actually another storm in Alton, and one of the branches did actually fall from that same oak tree, which is the very one that's on the ground today. If you ever go to the oak tree in real life, I'll put a picture on your screens now from my most recent Alton Towers trip when I went to the oak tree, and one of the branches are on the ground, and that was the one that fell in the late 2000s. But of course the Talbot family, which are still around today, the Talbot family is still around, and they confirmed no deaths had taken place, which more or less confirms that the curse just wasn't real. It was just superstitious nonsense really. Yes, probably the whole story did actually happen, and the witch did chant that curse, and the Earl did, do a mean thing to her by just pushing her away. It probably did happen, but just the actual curse itself wasn't real, and the family member dying was just pure coincidence. And that's actually a thing that a lot of people don't understand really with the story. A lot of people think that Alton Towers just made up the story of Hex just for this attraction. There is parts of the attraction that have been made up so that they can actually fit it in with a theme park ride. I'll get onto that in a minute. But the entire story of, well, not the entire story of Hex, but the legend of the chained oak about the Earl basically dismissing this witch, the witch placing a curse. It happened, it's all real. Yes, the curse wasn't necessarily real, but it all happened. The family member did die, and the tree is chained up, of course. If you go there today, I believe it's just behind the Chained Oak B&B, which is just behind Oblivion's Break Run. So that's actually where the Chained Oak is. It's behind Oblivion's Break Run. It's not on the park premises, it's on like a public footpath that you can get to very easily. So yeah, if next time you go to Alton Towers, definitely go down and see the Chained Oak. It's very big as well. When I first saw the Chained Oak, it was massive. I thought it would be a lot smaller, but it is a very big tree. What was I saying? So the part of the story that's actually made up is the Earl dragging the branch back to his secret vault. Of course, that vault never existed in the first place, and it doesn't exist within the towers. It's a garden shed outside the towers, and of course they added that to the story so they can actually make it into a theme park ride, really. Because if they just used the normal story, you know, they couldn't really do anything with it, so they thought, let's add some sort of vault, and that vault is going to be the madhouse. So yeah, so that's the part they made up. But you know, the tree is real, the chains are all real, and you know how they're real? Because the chains, the tree has grown around the chains, and all the chains are eroded, and they're all rusted away, and that definitely does not happen within the 20 years that Hex has been open. It definitely takes a lot more than 20 years for a tree to grow around some chains, and for the chains to be rusted that much. So if you ever hear anyone saying, oh, Alton Towers just put the chains on the tree themselves and all that, blah blah blah, don't believe them, they're wrong. The chains are real. It did happen over 150 years ago in 1821. It all happened. I believe if Alton Towers actually did put the chains on the tree itself, no, not itself, themselves, they would actually get fined for that. Probably some sort of what's the word? I don't know. Damaging to I can't remember. Vandalization. That's the word. Vandalization to public property. So yeah. So if anyone ever says, "Oh, Alton Towers just put the chains on the tree themselves," say no, because those chains are real. They've been there for ages. I haven't actually talked about what I'm actually doing in this time lapse. Of course, I'm building a cinema room, and there's not really much to say about the cinema room, to be honest. It is just one room. It doesn't really have a lot of special effects. It's literally just the lights dim and you'll play the video of Hex. One thing when I put the video into the game is it looks fine in the editing software and everything, but then when Planet Coaster tries to play on its TV screens, it goes like really pixelated and really horrible, and it has a lot of artifacts, and there's nothing I can do about that really, and it looks horrible. But I tried fixing it, but there's literally nothing I can do. So we've done the cinema now, and then we're going to move on to the Octagon, which is of course the main focus of this episode. The Octagon is, you know, the title of the episode. It's the thumbnail, as you would have seen, and it was the cinematic introduction at the start of the episode. The Octagon is a fantastic pre-show. I'm not talking about my Octagon that I've built in this episode, no. The real life Octagon pre-show is absolutely fantastic. I love the Octagon so much. I think it is definitely the best pre-show in the UK. By a stretch, it's one of the best pre-shows in Europe. Just because it has such an uneasy atmosphere, and the range of lighting and special effects they use in the Octagon, it really just adds to that atmosphere that something is there with you. The witch, the ghost of the witch is there with you, chanting that curse at you, and it's such a cool feeling that goes down your spine. Not cool as in amazing, cool as in chilly and cold, you know, and you just get that feeling whenever you're in that room, and it's so eerie and, yeah, uneasy and eerie, and that's why I love the pre-show so much, because it definitely doesn't have good theming, because its theming is basically scaffolding. It doesn't really have good special effects, because it's just a bit of light, some fog machines and some wind effects, and of course it really doesn't have the state-of-the-art technology that Disney do or Universal, but just the atmosphere in that room just makes the pre-show amazing. And to be honest, I would argue that the Octagon is actually better than the ride itself, and specific reason for that is because in the Octagon the lights do go pitch black, and you got all that lightning, and there's a bit of a jump scare in the Octagon as well if you don't know what's coming. But with the vault is really lit up during the ride. It's not dimmed down a lot, and because of that, it just doesn't have the same atmosphere as the Octagon does. The vault is very brightly lit, apart from the finale section where all the lights flash. But yeah, I prefer the Octagon more than the vault. To be honest, I think the vault is great. It's absolutely fantastic, and it's definitely one of the best Vekoma madhouses out there. It's just the Octagon has a better atmosphere to it, it has a better feeling, whereas the vault, it's just lit up too brightly. I think that's the main problem I have with the vault. If they just turn the music up a bit, so it's louder and you can feel the vibration of the music more. And if they dim the lights down a lot more so the atmosphere is more eerie in the vault, I think it can make it a lot better. And it's a shame they don't do that, to be honest. I would absolutely love to see that. So here I'm just making the walls of the Octagon, which were relatively easy to do. It's just make one wall and then copy and paste that wall all around in an octagon. What's the word for an octagon shape? I don't know, let's just say an octagon shape. I don't really know. But yeah, the Octagon was so easy to build, of course. Some parts of this is going to be cut out. It's going to cut to the next scene right now. But I did all the roof, well, not the roof just yet, you'll see that in a minute. But as you can see now, I did the battlements, and I finally found out the word for them. It is the battlements. Thank you to the people who commented what that was in the last episode. I remember asking for it, and you people did comment saying they're battlements, so thank you very much for that. And I have to say, whilst building the Octagon, there are so many details in the Octagon that I miss out on when I actually go into the ride. And that's because I don't really look around enough. Whenever I go into the Octagon, I always like to take my time walking through Hex, so I never really rush through the rooms. I take my time, I walk quite slowly, and by the time I get into the Octagon, the show is basically starting, and because of that, all the lights go dim and everything, and I miss out on all the details, really. And there's so much to the Octagon that I've never really noticed before I started this recreation. Because to build the Octagon, I've been looking at a lot of like behind the scenes pictures, such as the ones on Towers Times and Tower Street, who did like a massive tour of Hex where they had all the lights on everything, and it showed all the arches that the Octagon has, all the little details that the Octagon has. It's really, really cool to see all of that stuff. But yeah, I never really see it in real life because I'm always just focusing on the actual show itself. I never really look around. I only ever look in one direction, but I suppose that's my fault, really. But one of the things that I didn't realise is... What was I going to say? Oh yeah. Is the arches actually have like some sort of pattern on them that I will be putting in just a minute. So don't worry, I will be putting that detail in. But they have like a little pattern on them that it kind of looks a bit odd, really. I don't know how to describe it, but like an arch pattern. You'll see in a minute. But yeah, so another thing about the Octagon, I think I have mentioned this in quite a few episodes now, is apparently the Octagon is haunted by the Earl of Shrewsbury himself. It all really came from that episode of Most Haunted where, well, basically the Most Haunted team, it's a TV programme in Britain where these bloody idiots just fake hauntings in order to get some TV views. I think it's a stupid show and they cancelled it ages ago anyway, so yeah, they all went around Hex and all the towers and everything, and apparently they found that when they were in the Octagon, they were joined by a spirit, and the guy they had there, which is apparently some guy that knows who the spirits are, can talk to the spirits. I just think it's bullshit. And he said, "Oh yeah, it's Charles Talbot." So like, you could have easily just Googled that, to be honest, and say, "Oh, this is proof that this guy knows who the spirits are." You could have just Googled it. But yeah, that's where it all came from, really. Every time I do go into the Octagon, I do like say, "Hey Charles," because it's just a fun thing to do, really. Apparently he's a mean spirit as well, even though in real life Charles Talbot was apparently quite a nice man. He was a quite jolly man. I don't know, I do think it's a bit of bullshit, the whole haunting thing, but you know, believe what you want to believe. I think it's actually kind of cool to think that when you're in this pre-show room, when you're in the Octagon, that the ghost of Charles Talbot, the 15th Earl of Shrewsbury himself, is there with you. It's a cool thing to think about, but yeah, at the same time, it's bullshit. But anyway, I think I might leave you now. There's a few more minutes of time-lapse to go before the end of the video. I hope you do enjoy it. If you've enjoyed the video, then please, of course, do leave a like and a comment on what you think of the video. You know, might respond to it. I don't know if it's within the first about 24 hours of uploading this video, then I'll probably respond to it. If you did enjoy the video and you're not subscribed, please do consider subscribing, because my analytics do tell me that a lot of you aren't subscribed. So yeah, please do consider that. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Goodbye.